Hey developers, welcome again to the programming fields. Today I have continued with the part 3rd video in this Livewire 3 CRUD series in Laravel 11. And till now in our Livewire 3 CRUD series, we have covered up the installation and Livewire setup along with the components creation for the posts. Furthermore, we implemented the functionality to create and manage posts. We have implemented this post listing. From here, we can redirect to the post view. And also, we have implemented the pagination in this post listing. And on every operation, your page won't be refreshed. So this is our fully single page application using Livewire 3. Now in the today's video, we will continue with the post edit and delete functionality. And for this post edit, we will be using the same component that we have used to create this post and also to view the post. Alright, so let's get started to this edit functionality. So let's navigate to the code editor, and here we have this post listing table, and there we have the edit and delete button. So inside this edit button, firstly we will have to add a route. So I will add route as posts.edit, and here we will have to pass the post ID. So I will pass post implies ID, and also we will be using the wire navigate directive so that when we will click on this edit, it won't refresh the component. Now respective to this route, we will have to define this endpoint in the web.php. So let's navigate here and let's duplicate this, and instead of view, I will change this to edit, and I will set this name as posts.edit. Okay, this is done. Now this will navigate to the post form. So let's come inside this post form component, and here we have the mount method. So this will be our same as we used in the post view functionality. Here we will capture the post ID, and this will bind that post ID from the post model. So here we will get the post detail. So let's dump and die $post. Let's come to the browser. Let's refresh now, and let's click on edit. Yes, on edit, we are getting the post detail. Same thing if we'll click on other post. Yes, we are getting the post detail based on the given ID. Now we will continue the implementation of the edit functionality. So let's remove this dump and die, and here in this mount method, we already captured the route name using this request route age function, and we were storing this value in this age view variable. So here we already defined this public $age view, and by default this is false. So when our route name will be post.view, that means when we clicked on the post view button, this will be set to true, and by default it will be false. And here we are getting the post detail based on the post ID. And in this condition, we already checked if we have the post ID. That means if we are getting the post detail of the given ID, then this will set the title and content of that post in this public variable. And we already bound these public properties with this post form for this input. So this will automatically render this post form component, and this will populate the values. So let's come to the browser. Let's refresh again. Let's try to click on this edit. Yes, we can see here we are getting the post detail. All right. Now we will have to update one condition so that we can display this title. So let's come to the code, and here in this post form, for this title, we will have to update the condition. So we already added the condition. If age view is true, then that will be view only, else we were displaying this as a create. But before displaying this as a create, we will have to add one more condition. So if you will notice in this post form, we have defined a public variable as $post, and by default this is null, and this post variable will have the value when we will click on view or edit button. So when this will come inside this mount method, this will fetch the post from the post model, and that post will be set in this public post variable. So we can access this public post variable directly inside this post form. So in order to manage the title, we will use that post condition. So here I will check if we have the post, then I will set this to edit, okay, else it will be create. So we have used this ternary operator here. Now let's come to the browser again. Let's refresh. Yes, we have the title as edit post. Same condition we can apply for this button. So we can change this to update. Let's come to the code and let's scroll down. Here for this button text, I will set one condition. If we have post, then this will be update, else it will be save. Okay, this is done. Let's refresh now. Yes, this is fine. Now we will have to implement this update functionality. So when we will click on this update button, this should update the post instead of create. So as of now, if we'll click on update, this will directly insert a new post in the database. So we will have to add the condition for the update. So let's come to the code editor. And if you'll scroll up, here in this form, we already added the submit handler as save post. So the submit handler is working to save the post details. And this is defined in this post form class. So if we'll scroll down, here we have the save post function. And before creating the post, we were validating the post form. Now in the same function, we will create the functionality to update the blog post. So this single function will manage the post create and post update functionality. And as of now, in this save post function, we have defined the functionality to create the post only. Now we will modify this function so that we can handle the post update functionality as well. So if you will notice here, we have defined this public $post variable, and on post view and edit, we have assigned the post detail in this public post variable. All right. And by default, this is public, so we can access it here. So in the save post function, I will add dump and die $this post. Okay. Let's come to the browser. Let's refresh. Now let's click on update. Yes, we can see we are able to get the post detail on update click. So we can add one condition here. If we have post, that means if post is in edit mode, then we will have to update that post. All right. So for updating the post, we will have to assign the columns from the form to the database column name. So through the form, we are capturing the title and content in these public variables. All right. And for updating the blog post, I will be using the Laravel eloquent approach. So what we will have to do, we will have to assign the form inputs in this post model so that it will update the blog post based on the specified columns. So I will use $this post, and this is basically our post model title, and in this post title I will assign this public $title. So I will set $this title. All right. Same thing I will do for the content. So I will set content with this public $content. This is fine. Now regarding the featured image, we will have to check if featured image is updated. That means if featured image is uploaded, then we will have to update that. Else it can be optional, because in the edit mode, if I will refresh, you can see this is optional. It is not mandatory that every time this featured image will be updated. So already we have the featured image for this blog post, and on the edit mode, it is not mandatory to choose another featured image while updating. So we will have to set the condition accordingly. If it is not uploaded, then that field won't be updated in the edit mode. So let's add the condition for this. So I will cut this image upload functionality in the top, and also this image path variable. Here we have added this condition. If we have the featured image chosen, then we were capturing that extension and we were generating that file name. Now I will set the condition if we have the image path. Okay, then inside this if condition, I will update that featured image path. So I will write $this post featured image, because we have the column name in the database as a featured image, and we will have to assign here image path. So I will write image path. Okay, and here I will use $this post save function. So this will save the columns data in the post table. So this is for the update functionality. Now here we will have to write the else condition, and in the else condition we will have to keep create functionality inside this. Okay, and also I will keep this session flash in this else part, and also I will copy these lines and I will add it here in the post update functionality. Here I will change this message as post has been updated, and in the else part it will be unable to update post, please try again. And here instead of $post we will have to capture this response in a variable as update post, and I will add this condition here. Okay, so this is our update functionality, and here we have the create one. Now regarding this validation, we will have to keep this at the top, so here I will add it. Okay, this is done. Now regarding the validation, we will have to update for the featured image, because for the featured image we have defined the validation rule as required. So on edit mode, if we have the featured image, then this should not be required, only it will be required on the create mode. So for this we will have to update this validation rule. So I want this validation rule to be dynamic based on the route. So while updating the post, I will check if we have the post featured image, then this will be optional, else it will trigger the required validation. So for this, I will cut these entire validation rules for this featured image from here. Okay, and I will paste it here inside this save post function after this validate. So initially this will trigger the validation for the post title and content, and regarding the featured image, this will be dynamic. That means it will check if you don't have the post featured image, then this will trigger that validation. So here I will define a variable as rules, and this is our Laravel approach. Here I will set the validation rule. So we have the field name as featured image. Okay, and inside this I will set the condition as, firstly I will check if we have the post in the edit mode. So I will check if we have the post, and I will check if we have the post featured image. Then the rule will be like featured image will be nullable, and this will be our optional. That means it won't trigger the required rule if we have the post featured image. But if we are trying to upload the new featured image, then this should trigger the other validation. So for the featured image, we had the validation rule just like it should accept image. So for this I will add next rule as it should accept image only, and also we will have to add the same MIMES type as we already defined. So I will add it here. Also we will have to add this max validation for the file size. So here we will add after this MIMES, this will check max as 2048. Else we will have to add the condition for the else part. That means if the post has not featured image, then this will check the required validation along with all the validation rules. So let's copy these rules again and let's add it for the else part. And in the else part, instead of nullable, this will be required. All right, this is done, and let's add this semicolon here. Yes, so the rules have been defined here. Now regarding the custom validation error message for the featured image, we will have to add these messages in a separate variable. So I will define one more array as messages, and inside this array I will have to add the customized error messages as featured image dot required, and this will be required. Next we will have to add featured image dot image, and this must be a valid image, so I will add it here. Now next we have the mimes, so I will add featured image dot mimes, and I will set the message as this. Okay, and lastly we have the size, so I will add max, and for this we have the message defined here. So let's add this message. This is done. Now we don't need these validation rules here. Let's remove this. Yes. Now we will have to trigger this specific featured image validation rules and messages for the featured image while we will update the post. So for this, again I will call this validate function here, and inside this validate function I will pass these rules and messages. Okay, so again this will trigger the validation rules for this image only. So let me quickly explain what I have done here. Inside this save post function, I have managed the functionality to create and update the post. So firstly, this will validate the form for the post title and content, because in the Livewire validate attribute for this public variable, we have defined the validation rules, and also for this content. Okay, so while submitting the form, this will trigger the validation rule for the post title and content. Now regarding this featured image, I have added the validation rule as dynamic, because on the edit mode we will have the featured image, so every time it is not needed to change the featured image. So while submitting the form, before validating, this will check if we have the post. That means if post is opened in the edit mode, then this will check if that post has the featured image. If it is there, then this will not trigger the required validation, else this will trigger the required validation rule. Alright, and thereafter I have customized the error messages for this featured image, and I have validated that rule here. Okay, this is done. All good. Alright, let's save and come to the browser. Let's refresh now. Now let's try to update the post here. Let's click on update. Yes, we can see it said post has been updated successfully, and we have the updated title and updated content. And in this case, we can see image has not changed because we have not updated the image. Let's click on edit again. Now this time I will try to change the featured image. So currently I have this featured image as real-time form validation submit technique. I will change this to Livewire lifecycle hooks. Let's click on update. Yes, we can see we have the featured image as lifecycle hooks. So this is working properly. Now let's try to add a new post here. Let's click on save. Yes, we have the validation for the title and content is triggering if I will fill up the post title. Now regarding the featured image, this is triggering the featured image validation rule. Now let's try to upload the image. Okay, now let's try to click on save. Yes, post has been published. Okay, and the newly created post is showing in the last. So we will have to change this sorting in this listing. So let's update that first. So in the post list, we have this render function. Here I will add order by ID, and this will be in the descending order. Let's refresh now. Yes, we can see the lastly created post is showing first here. Let's try to click on the view mode. Yes. Let's try to click on edit. Yes, post is updated. Now we will implement the delete functionality. So in the delete functionality, I will be using the delete confirmation alert. So Livewire provides confirmation dialog before proceeding any action. So if we'll come to the official documentation of Livewire 3. Inside the documentation, if you will scroll down, under the HTML directives, you will have the wire confirm. Okay, so before proceeding any action, just like any click, we can use this wire confirm directive. Alright, so on our delete functionality, we will be using this wire confirm directive. So let's come to the code editor. Inside this post list blade, we have the button as button type button. for this delete. Here I will use wire colon confirm, and inside this we will have to pass the message that we want to show for the confirmation. So I will add message as, are you sure you want to delete? Okay. So after this confirm, I will set one click event here as wire colon click, and here we will have to specify the function name. So on the click of delete button, I want to trigger the delete post, and inside this delete post, we will have to pass the post ID. So I will set post ID. Okay, this is done. Now we will have to define this function inside this post list component. So here in this post list class, I will define public function delete post, and inside this function we have passed the post ID, so we can capture that as a post ID. And here let's add dump and die $id. Let's come to the browser. Let's refresh now. Let's try to click on delete. You can see now it is prompting that confirmation dialog. We have the cancel and OK button. If we'll click on OK, here this dump and died that post ID as 14. If we'll try to click on other post, this one, yes, we are getting that post ID. So instead of this post ID, again I will use the route model binding here. So I will use post model and the instance of this post as $post, and here I will dump and die $post. Let's check now. I will click on this second Laravel 11 interface. If we'll click on OK, and here if we'll check, we are getting that post detail here. Similarly, if I will try to click on this form validation post, yes, we are getting that. Now we can proceed with the delete operation. Here I will add one condition. If we have the post, then this will delete that post using Laravel delete function. And also before deleting the post, we will have to remove that post featured image from the storage. Alright, so in the post we will be getting the post featured image. So I will check from the storage if a storage exists, and inside this we will have to pass the post featured image path. We will have to import this storage facade here. So I will use illuminate support facades and storage. Okay, and before deleting the featured image, I will add dump and die to check if it is getting the correct storage path. Let's save and come to the browser again. Let's refresh now. Let's try to click on this first one. Let's proceed. Yes, this is giving true. That means a featured image exists in that directory. So based on this, I will add condition. If that featured image exists in the storage, then this will delete that image from that storage. So I will use a storage delete function, and inside this we will have to pass the featured image path. So I will pass post featured image. This is done. This is okay, and thereafter it will delete the post from the post table. Now on success of delete, I will capture one response as delete response. I will add one condition. If we have the delete response, then I will set session flash, and inside this I will pass flash as success and message as post deleted successfully. In the else part, I will set session flash as error and message will be unable to delete post. Please try again. Okay, this is done. And in the main else part, that means if post does not exist, then I will set one more flash message as post not found. Please try again. Okay, and lastly we will have to redirect to this same post listing. So I will write return $this redirect function, and inside this redirect function I will pass that route name as /posts, and also we will have to pass the navigate as true. So this will prevent the page reloading. Let's save and come to the browser. Let's refresh now. Now let's try to delete this first post. Let's proceed with the OK. Yes, you can see post deleted successfully, and after deletion this has not reloaded the page, and automatically this refreshed this blog post listing. Similarly, if I will try to delete in this last page, let's click on delete. If you will cancel, it won't proceed. Let's try again. If you will confirm, yes, that post has been deleted, and again this has not reloaded this entire page. So we have implemented this edit and delete functionality successfully. Now we will see how we can change the page title dynamically based on the component. So as of now, if you will notice here in the browser, it is showing the default as page title. Even we are navigating between the multiple components, just like add post, view, and edit. Alright, so every time this is showing the default page title. But in our demo application, if you will notice, on every component navigation we have the different page title. Let's suppose on the listing we have the post listing, on add post we have the manage post, okay. On the view we have the same manage post. So we can change the page title here in our current application. So for this, Livewire provides the title attribute. If you will come to the official documentation again, and if you will scroll up here under the component section, if you will scroll down, you will have the page title. Yes, here we have the setting the page title. When you are using the Livewire layout, we have the default title as page title, as we already saw here in the app layout. We have the title attribute and we have the default page title. So Livewire provides the flexibility to set the page title of every components dynamically on this placeholder. And for this, we will have to define the Livewire title attribute on every components. If you'll check out the documentation again, here we have the title attributes. Firstly, we will have to import it, and then on every components we will have to specify the page title like this. So let's try to implement this. Firstly, we will start with this post listing component. Here we will import Livewire attributes and then title, and here inside this component I will use the title attribute. Inside this I will pass the page title as Livewire 3 CRUD posts listing. Okay, this is done. Let's check now. Let's refresh. Yes, you can see our title has been changed as Livewire 3 CRUD posts listing. Same thing if I will come to the add post. Inside this add post form, we will have to add the title. So let's copy this import attribute. Let's come to the post form class. Let's import it here. Thereafter, here I will set title as Livewire 3 CRUD manage posts. Okay, this is done. Let's come to the browser. Let's refresh now. Yes, the title has been changed now. So this is all about single page CRUD application in Livewire 3 using Laravel 11. I hope you will find this entire series helpful, but this is not ended up. In the next video, I will extend this mini project and I will implement this search functionality using Livewire. So stay tuned with the programming fields, and if you have not subscribed at programming fields, then please subscribe it, and also don't forget to like and share this video. So see you soon in the next video. Until then, happy coding.